Advancing the Kingdom podcast. We're streaming live on all social media platforms and podcast streaming channels. Get ready for a revelatory teaching from our apostle, Matthew Tillery.
Well, greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. Listen, I am your host tonight, Matt Tillery. Certainly appreciate you tonight. Thank you so much for taking time to logging in, calling in, or however you're logged in tonight to Advancing the Kingdom podcast. Listen, if you are over on Facebook, go ahead and hit the share button. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're over on YouTube, ML Tillery Outreach, go ahead and subscribe to the ML Tillery Outreach channel. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Listen, it's going to be a great night tonight. It's going to be a spectacular night tonight. I'm excited about my guest tonight, and that's none other than Dr. Tiffany Tyson, board certified psychiatric and family nurse practitioner. She's an author, and she's also a wellness advocate. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I really appreciate you just taking time. I know you're a busy person. So just once again, thank you so much for just sharing your time tonight with our audience and our podcast listeners.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well, listen, your title is a psychiatric nursing practitioner. But for those of us that don't know what that means, can you explain what you do and what actually led you into this field?
Well, I like to psych you out before you psych me out. Gotcha.
I've been psyched out all day.
But no, I just like to add a little humor. But yes, so as a doctor of psychiatric nursing practice, I see children, teens, and adolescents in the clinic as well as adults, individuals that are suffering or diagnosed with anxiety, depression, bipolar, and schizophrenia. And I treat them either through prescription or talk therapy. But not just that, I like to go a little bit deeper because I like to look at their stressors, how well are they sleeping, what are they eating, and are they doing any physical activity, as well as their social supports, and do they have any inspirational things that they do in their life? And I like to look at all of those to see how they affect their mood and their energy. I believe in treating the whole person because it's not just half a person that I'm looking at everything, and I like to have balance between their mental, emotional, and physical health.
So how does the physical part play with the mental health?
You know, getting someone moving, exercise increases those endorphins, those feel-good hormones, and when you increase those endorphins, you feel better. And so I like to get people up. I ask them, are you walking or are you running? What are you doing for physical activity? We all need to be moving. Even if we're doing like chair yoga or some type of chair exercise, there's always an exercise that people can do.
So in the charismatic churches, a lot of times, we have often been told that you come to the altar, you get hands laid on you, you get prayer, and I'm certainly an advocate for all of that, right?
Yes.
But is it okay to have Jesus and a therapist?
Yes.
I need both.
Yes, we all need both, especially during these trying times. But, you know, in clinic, sometimes it depends on the person because I don't like to push religion on individuals. But sometimes I'll even bring gospel music in. Like I'll ask a young lady, I said, okay, what music describes you today? Or as we're progressing, I said, what's your song for the day? And so I think it's always important to have some type of, even though people may not believe in God, but believe in something that's higher or powerful than we are, or reading something that's inspirational. They may not read the Bible, but maybe they're reading something inspirational. But I believe having faith, I remember talking to a lady that was dealing with cancer, and she said what really brought her through was her faith. Wow. So I think faith walk is very important, but I don't try to push religion on people.
Right, right. Yeah, I totally agree that, But it's okay to, as a pastor, I believe it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist.
Yes.
So I've always promoted that. So you're the CEO of Tyson Multimedia. Really sounds very exciting. What is Tyson Multimedia? What is it all about?
Well, that means I get to be the boss.
That's a great feeling, isn't it?
But I don't boss people around. We all work together as a team. Shout out to my team. My mom's here tonight with me. She's one of my team members. She's co-CEO. And we work together to produce different workshops for children. And this whole company actually started when I was doing my OBGYN practicum. And I remember I was seeing girls coming into the clinic as young as 11 and 12. And these were like good girls but they had gone wrong in some sort of way.
Right.
And they were there being tested to see if they were either pregnant or either had a STD. And I remember one of the mothers saying, you know, my daughter can't be pregnant at all. We live out in the rural area. There's nothing going on. And I said, wow. I said, sometimes when there's nothing going on, other things happen. And then I remember asking the young lady, I said, well, why would you want to have a child at age 10 or 11? And she said, well, I want somebody to feel loved. I want to be loved. I want to love someone else. And so I remember that day, that really having a great impact and impression on me. And so when I got home, because I was doing clinical outside of where I live at, and so I called up one of the principals at Forest Hills Middle School, and I remember asking her, what group of kids are having the most challenges? I said, is it a girl or boys? And she says, actually, the girls, they're dealing with low self-esteem, they're dealing with body image, they're dealing with hygiene. And I said, I would like to help out. And so we created a program right there at her school because I thought it was important for young girls to see women that look like them, whether
Right.
they were black, white, Hispanic, but women that look like them that were doing positive things with their life, whether it was real estate or being a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. And so the girls were really impressed with the young ladies that I brought in. And so from working with young ladies, it went to doing summer camps over the summer. And then it also went from summer camps to having an annual girls empowerment segment. And so now we do STEAM, or science, technology, engineer, art, and math, with children ages 8 to 18. We've had the opportunity to work with Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA. We've been in several school districts from Halifax to Rocky Mount to Wilson, but different school districts across North Carolina. So I'm excited to be able to bring not only wellness, but creativity to kids and also help boost their self-esteem.
Awesome. Is there anything that's coming up soon in terms of any new thing coming up, or do you have something in the works?
So we do. I'm being asked, when is the next Young Ladies Empowerment series? And so we're getting together and putting our heads together and thinking about that right now and getting ready for 2026 to have the next YLES conference.
Awesome. Certainly some great things are happening with that. So we really appreciate what you're doing in the communities. So I'm excited about that. Look, you have a brand, and we really want to hear about this. That's called Patti Friends. Tell us about that.
Yes, Patti and Friends. And this came about with me just sitting in with parents, with their children, and then also listening to teachers. And parents getting a little frustrated. They're like, my child is either acting out, they're crashing out. That's the new term now, where they're either shouting or stomping. And, they're asking me, how do I emotionally regulate my child? And so Patti and Friends is a social emotional learning and mindfulness curriculum. And so I make it fun and relatable by using stories with characters that look like the kids in the classroom. And we also play games and activities because it's important. Social emotional learning is allowing kids to regulate their emotions. And it's very important because using SEL is a child can identify their own self-awareness. They can realize, hey, I'm getting a little nervous, I'm taking this test, but instead of having a panic attack, they can stop and take a deep breath and kind of become grounded and think about the 5 things they see in the room, or 4 things that they can touch, or 3 things that they can smell, and they're kind of calming themselves down and re-preparing themselves for the test. Or Also, emotional regulations. Instead of a child getting angry or crashing out, they say, hey, I need time out. I'm going to walk away, cool down, take a sip of water, and then come back and talk. It's also about making positive decisions. So children can have the chance to stop and pause and think about before they write that nasty message on social media, think about how is this message going to affect my friend in class.
Right.
So that's what Patti and Friends is about, but making it fun and relatable to kids.
Well, it sounds like some of us adults.
Yes.
What do we stomping and all that?
Yes, sometimes adults need a timeout too.
Oh wow! What's been the most surprising or emotional response?
Wow. So one of the teachers, so we did a workshop there with the teachers, and we talked about different ways to regulate children in the classroom. And one of the activities was sparkle breathing. So I remember the teacher.
Say that again now. It's
Sparkle breaths.
Oh, good.
And so one of the teachers said, you know what, the student who's always quiet and shy actually came up to me and he said, you know, I was able to do the breathing activity that you guys were taught, and I was able to calm myself down, and I was able to be at peace. And so I was so excited. I was like, okay, so this work is making a difference. The teachers are actually utilizing the tools that they were taught, and it's helping the kids to be to regulate themselves.
Awesome. Listen, I know this month, I think this is November, right?
Yes, it is.
So November is kindness month, but I think every month should be kindness month.
It should be, yes.
So what does kindness mean to you?
So kindness to me is not just being nice, but it's pausing and being intentional. It's not about, okay, what am I going to do because people are watching me? It's about the things that you do when people aren't looking, aren't watching you. It's like, say, your coworkers had a stressful day at the office, and so you're like, hey, I'm going to go buy them lunch, or, you know, instead of them staying late tonight, I'm going to stay late. So it's about being intentional and showing that person that I see you and you matter to me.
Right. Yeah, so how do you deal with, in terms of people that's really having a tough time, right? Because we're in a really stressful time, I would say, to a lot of us, right?
Yes.
So how difficult is it to be kind in this environment that we're in now?
You're right. It's very difficult for people. They're struggling with finances. They're struggling with bills. But I tell them, make one small step, because it first starts with being kind to ourselves, because sometimes we get in our heads and we're saying a lot of negative things about ourselves. But one small kindness can do for yourself when you get up in the morning, good morning, beautiful, how you doing today? Or good morning, handsome, I see you. And then that small step, or just taking that time to just stop and pause and taking a deep breath or going for a walk is kind of calming that person down, but starting with themselves first.
Yeah, so sometimes that's very difficult, but you're right. I think you have to, get your emotions in check, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I think, once again, every day should be a day where you're kind to folk.
Yes.
And you really don't know what folk are going through. I saw a person the other day and just been dealing with a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to really just show some love to that person. Just be kind. Hey, man, it's going to be all right.
Yes.
Life, it be lifing, right?
Yeah.
So, but things, you're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I would have been the guy that's, oh, man, get over it. You're a man. You're tough. Walk it out and stuff like that. So it pays off to be kind to everybody. We all need to be kind every day to everybody.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So you're wearing many hats. You're a doctor, CEO, creator, you're an advocate. So you're doing a lot of things. How do you, first of all, how do you wear all these hats? How do you manage your time and all of that stuff?
Well, as you said earlier, having a faith walk. So my morning starts early, before the phone starts chiming, before somebody's sending me a reminder text, even before the news feeds start going like, hey, Beyonce has done this lately, or hey, this is happening. So I like to get up early, about 5:30, and I start with devotion. I like to sit and I read my daily devotion, and then I go into my prayer. And then I go do my workout again. So I got to get, because working out in the morning, it gives me energy to get through my day.
Right.
And then sometimes I have to take a pause myself and just take a step back and step away. And my family, especially my mom, she always reminds me, okay, hey, are you getting enough sleep? Hey, are you getting enough water? And so it's important to have those accountability people in your lives to say, hey, I see what you're doing, but have you had a chance to take a break and step back?
Right.
But it's having that routine that helps keep me grounded in the morning, because like you said, you never know what you're going to face when you drive down that road. You don't know if you're going to run into someone that's having road rage, or when you get to the office. And so you got to put your armor on first, right, before you go out into the world, so to speak. But so when I feel like when I do that, I do my morning devotion, I pray, I have my workout, and then I like to juice, because juicing helps give me energy. So as a matter of fact, I juiced before I got here tonight to give me a little bit of burst of energy after my busy day.
Right.
So I don't just tell people to do something. I like to practice what I preach. So if I'm telling you to get enough sleep, if I'm telling you to hydrate with more water, if I'm exercising, then I'm doing those things myself.
Right. So let's move ahead 20 years from now.
Okay.
We're going way out there, 20 years. What do you hope folk would remember about you the most?
Well, since we're talking about kindness, I hope they remember that I am kind.
And the impact that
are in the office come across, I hope that they remember that I was able to help them find peace in some of the challenges that they may have been dealing with in life. And it's important to let them know that I see them, and let them know that they do matter, and that it's okay if they may have made mistakes in life, but they can pull themselves back up and they can begin again. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Right. So you, as a doctor, I know you how do you deal in terms of, because I know it has to be some type of personal level that as well, feeling wise, right? Emotions and stuff. Do you ever get caught up in that sometimes from just a patient, and you're now seeing what they're dealing with? Does that affect you a lot of times, or any time?
So being human, sometimes you may have those individuals that really do, their life story or what they're going through really does impress upon you.
Right.
And so I try not to take work home. Sometimes it can be hard to separate, but you try to, at the end of the day, you try to do the best that you can for that person. Again, treating them holistically, because they're a human. And so going back and again talking about the things that I impress upon them to do, whether it's eating healthier or getting enough sleep. So I try to make sure before I leave the day that I've tried to do everything that I can. And then if there's something that I, forgot to tell them, I say, hey, I'll send myself a reminder, or I'll ask my assistant, can you give them a call in the morning? But we do have to, shut off. And so when I get home, I make sure that, I do an unwinding technique, whether it's stretching or, again, relaxing, taking a relaxing bath, just to kind of calm myself from the day.
Right. So let's let's remove the doctor for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. I promise you, we're gonna give it back to you.
Okay.
Let's remove it for a moment, right?
Okay.
Who is Tiffany Tyson?
Wow. So Tiffany Tyson, if I had to say something to my younger self right now, because Tiffany was a child growing up, but if I could say something to myself, that it's going to be okay. Yeah. You're doing pretty good, and life is great. You've made some great choices in life, but at the end of the day, just remember to be kind to myself, and letting the little girl know that you're okay. Everything's all right, and that if I had to tell. When I'm talking to kids, I try to talk to them about positive affirmations and speaking light. And so I try to speak life over my life as well when I'm praying, and just ask God to guide me. So I'm a God-fearing woman. So you ask who I am. I'm a God-fearing woman first. And then I try to honor my parents, honor my family, because, without them I wouldn't be here. And so at the end of the day, I would say that Tiffany is a God-fearing person, God-fearing woman. She tries to put God first in whatever she does.
Awesome. Now we're going to give you the doctor back,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So and I did that for a reason. Look at camera too, and just talk to that young lady that's
Okay.
struggling.
Okay.
They're trying to decide which way to go. So many things they're dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to that person right now?
I see you. You matter. You are stronger than you think. You are braver than you think. You have all the confidence in the world that you need, regardless of what challenges you've had in life. That doesn't matter. You can begin again. You can pick yourself back up. Continue to shine, and don't let anybody dull your shine.
Wow, powerful. Thank you. So we're a couple of moments ago, we were talking about kindness, kind of got over here, but there are plethora of things happening in the world, and we talked about that a little. What is one small act of kindness we can do this week to make a difference?
Great question. So texting someone that you haven't texted in a while, letting them know, hey, how are you doing? Or calling that person on the phone and talking to them. Or just like you said, if you see a stranger walking down the street, hi, you have a beautiful smile, or I love those shoes that you have on. Because we never know what someone is going through in life. We don't know their experience before they left home. And so that kindness act, or those kind words, or just saying, hey, I love you, that may be the first kindness act that they may have heard for the day. And so I always tell people, we never know if they are, if they read their Bible, if they go to church. But when you say one kind word to someone, that shows that God is flowing within you. And so that reminds us that we are God's kingdom, and people need to see our light shine, and by saying kind words to them, we do shine, and we show that God is within us.
Awesome, powerful. Look, we didn't get a chance. Well, we do have a chance. Let's talk about the author piece.
Okay.
You are an author, so let's talk about that for a moment. Tell us about that.
Wow, yes. So I remember starting out as an author. I was a little girl in 8th grade. I wrote my first poem, and it was entered into a competition. And just something that fascinated me with storytelling. And so didn't have all the pieces together, but I first wrote my first book, Patti, Fix It, Billy the Bully. Well, let me back up. I wrote Urban Princess. And so this particular book was actually picked up by two charter schools, and they were utilizing it for their social-emotional, their English science class, English classes. And then from there, I wrote Patti, Fix It, Billy the Bully. So helping kids deal with being bullied. And because children are so resilient, and so we don't give them that credit, but they can, learn how to problem solve amongst themselves, sometimes without adults entering in. And then I met Miss Claudia Massey, and so I participated in what we call a trilogy, Reclaiming My Life. And so we have 3 books from that particular trilogy. And so that talks about different experiences that women have had and how they've been able to overcome these experiences. And then in my chapter, I talk about there is hope. And because everybody, we just talked about a minute ago, everybody's journey is different.
Right.
Some people, they want therapy. Some people combine religion and therapy. Some people want medication. Some people use exercise. And so, but yes, so the author journey has been very fascinating. It's nice to meet different people, because you never know by them just picking up your book how you're going to change their life or their life. I went through that when I was, in a battered relationship, and I was able to get out of that relationship. And so each book has been able to touch someone's life in a positive way.
Right. Is there anything new coming soon or in the future?
Well, yes. So we have the Patti book that's getting ready to come out. We have Patti products, card games, posters. So I'm excited about our online curriculum that teachers and educators are going to be able to utilize in the classroom.
Awesome. And Dr. Tyson's info is at the bottom of the screen, so you can look at the bottom of the screen and you can get all the information, all our contact information emails, and I think it's about 20 at the bottom, but you can get all of those. Listen, anything else you want to share tonight?
No, I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you again for the invitation. I have enjoyed my time here tonight.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. For those of you that want to learn more, whether it's about Patti and friends, Tyson, multimedia, the wellness or the behavioral health piece, you can certainly get that info at the bottom of your screen. Well, it's been a fast pace, 28 minutes. It's been a fast pace tonight, but it's been a very great conversation. So once again, thank you so much. I know it's been a busy day for you. You're ready to get out of here and kick back and relax. So we're not going to hold you tonight. So certainly we appreciate you, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Well, listen, I appreciate you all that's watching live on Facebook and YouTube. Once again, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit the share button. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're over on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the ML Tillery Outreach. And to those of you that's listening by way of podcast streaming channels, we thank you so much. Thank you for all of the downloads. It's been a great year for us with ML, the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. So we certainly thank you for all of the downloads. Listen, it's been a great time once again, and I'm here with Dr. Tiffany Tyson. Until next time, go and advance the kingdom.
We pray you have been empowered and blessed by this teaching. Join us next week for the Advancing the Kingdom podcast. If you would like to reach us, email us at mltillery@icloud.com.